नंद कुमारा जय जय देव हरे जय जय देव हरे वंदे कृष्ण नंद कुमार नंद कुमार मदन गोपाल मदन गोपाल मोहन रूपा मोहन रूपा नंद कुमारा जय जय देव हरे जय जय देव हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा ना कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा ना कृष्णा हरे राम 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 हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे राम राम हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे राम राम हरे गोविंद जय जय गोपाल जय जय राधा रमण हरि गोविंद जय जय गोविंद जय जय गोपाल जय जय राधा रमण हरि गोविंद जय जय गोविंद जय जय गोपाल जय जय राधा रमण हरि गोविंद जय जय गोविंद जय जय गोपाल जय जय राधा रमण हरि गोविंद जय 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 जगन्नाथ जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेवा जय सुभद्रा जय जगन्नाथ जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेवा जय सुभद्रा जय जगन्नाथ जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेवा जय सुभद्रा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण हरे हरे राम 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 हरे कृष्णा ना कृष्णा हरे राम 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 हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे राम 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 हरे वंदे कृष्णा नंद कुमार नंद कुमारा मदन गोपाल मदन गोपाल मोहन रूपा मोहन रूपा नंद कुमारा जय जय देव हरे जय जय देव हरे हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा की जय नरसिंह भगवान की जय पंच तत्व की जय षड गोस्वामी की जय गुरु परंपरा की जय शिल प्रभुपाद की जय शिल गुरुदेव की जय हिता गौर प्रेमंदे हरि हरि बोल ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयम् उदीरयेत्. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest. One should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of God Narayana, unto Narayana Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवति उत्तमश्लोके is to keep by regular attendance classes in Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotee. All that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. So, Hare Krishna will just share the screen for today's class. 421, 48, and 49. वीरवर्यपितः पृथ्व्याः समाः सञ्जीव शाश्वतीः यस्येदृश्यच्युते भक्तिः सर्वलोकैकभर्तरी वीरवर्यपितः पृथ्व्याः समाः सञ्जीव शाश्वतीः यस्येदृश्यच्युते भक्तिः सर्वलोकैकभर्तरी. Any Prabhu and Mataji can recite.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, carry
Yes,
on.
No, you go ahead, Mataji, please.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. वीरवर्यपितः पृथ्व्याः समा सञ्जीव शाश्वतीः यस्ये दृश्यच्युते भक्तिः सर्वलोकैकभर्तरी. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yes, yes, Prabhuji.
May
Yeah, go ahead.
Veeravarya Pita Prithvyaha Sama Sanjeeva Shashvatihi Yasye Drishye Yachyute Bhaktihi Sarvalokaika Bhartari. Hare Krishna.
Okay, thank you, Krishna. Synonymous word to word meaning. Veeravarya, the best of the warriors. Pitaha, the father. Prithvyaha, of the globe. Samaha, equal to in years. Sanjeeva, live. Live. Shashvatihi, forever. Yasya, whose. Idrishi, like this. Achyute, unto the supreme. Bhaktihi, devotion. Sarva, all. Loka, planets. Eka, one. Bhartari, maintainer. Translation and purport by Divine Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Please hear the translation and purport. All the saintly Brahmanas thus addressed Prithu Maharaj. O best of the warriors, O father of this globe, may you be blessed with a long life, for you have great devotion to the infallible Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the master of all the universe. Purport. Prithu Maharaj was blessed by the saintly persons present at the meeting to have a long life because of his unflinching faith and his devotion to Supreme Personality of Godhead. Although one's duration of life is limited in years, if by chance one becomes a devotee, he surpasses the duration prescribed for his life. Indeed, sometimes yogis die according to their wish, not according to the laws of material nature. Another feature of a devotee is that he lives forever because of his infallible devotion to the Lord. It is said, Kirtir yasyasya jivati. One who leaves a good reputation behind him lives forever. Specifically, one who is reputed as a devotee of the Lord undoubtedly lives forever. When Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was talking with Ramananda Raya, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu inquired, what is the greatest reputation? Ramananda Raya replied, the person who is reputed as a great devotee has the greatest reputation. For a devotee not only lives forever in the Vaikuntha planets, but by his reputation, he also lives forever within this material world. Jai Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Now we'll recite the 49th verse. Aho vayam hyadya pavitra kirte त्वयैव नाथेन मुकुन्दनाथः यवोत्तमश्लोकतमस्य विष्णोर्ब्रह्मण्यदेवस्य कथां व्यनक्ति अहो वयं ह्यद्य पवित्रकीर्ते त्वयैव नाथेन मुकुन्दनाथाः योत्तमश्लोकतमस्य विष्णोर्ब्रह्मण्यदेवस्य कथां व्यनक्ति. Any two of you can recite. Prabhu or Mataji.
May I? अहो
Yes, yes.
वयं ह्यत्य पवित्रकीर्ते त्वयैव नाथेन मुकुन्दनाथाः य उत्तमश्लोकतमस्य विष्णोर्ब्रह्मण्यदेवस्य कथां व्यनक्ति. हरे कृष्ण.
Thank you. Very nice. Hare Krishna. Anybody else wants to recite? One more.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yes, anybody? Oh, I think Nirmala Mataji and Jyoti Mataji wanted, right? Both of you can recite.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. अहो वयं ह्यद्य पवित्रकीर्ते त्वयैव नाथेन मुकुन्दनाथाः य उत्तमश्लोकतमस्य विष्णोर्ब्रह्मण्यदेवस्य कथां व्यनक्ति. हरे कृष्ण
Yes, thank
प्रभुजी.
you. Thank you. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you.
Yes, Jyoti Mataji, you also.
Thank you, Prabhuji. अहो वयं यद्य पवित्रकीर्ते त्वयैव नाथेन मुकुन्दनाथाः य उत्तमश्लोकतमस्य विष्णोर्ब्रह्मण्यदेवस्य कथां व्यनक्ति. Thank you,
Very
Prabhuji.
nice. Thank you. Thank you, Prabhu Mataji. Hare Krishna. Now go to word meanings and audience. Aho. Oh, goodness. Vayam, we. He, certainly. Adya, today. Pavitra Kirte, O supreme purity. Tvaya, by you, Eva, certainly, Nathena, by the Lord, Mukunda, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Nathaha, being the subject of the Supreme, Ye, one who, Uttama Shloka Tamasya, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is praised by the nicest verses, Vishnu, of Vishnu, Brahmanya Devasya, of the worshipable Lord of the Brahmanas, Katham, words, Vyanakti, expressed. Translation and purport by Divine Grace Shri Ki Jai. Please hear the translation and purport. The audience continued, Dear King Prithu, your reputation is the purest of all, for you are preaching the glories of the most glorified of all, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Lord of the Brahmanas. Since, due to our great fortune, we have you as our master, we think that we are living directly under the agency of the Lord. Purport. The citizens declared that through being under the protection of Maharaj Prithu, they were directly under the protection of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This understanding is the proper situation of social steadiness within this material world. Since it is stated in the Vedas, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the maintainer and leader of all living entities, the king or the executive head of the government must be a representative of the Supreme Person. Then he can claim honor exactly like the Lord's. However, a king or leader of society can become the representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is also indicated in this verse by the statement that because Prithu Maharaj was preaching the supremacy and glories of Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, he was therefore a proper representative of the Lord. To remain under the jurisdiction of or administration of such a king or leader is a perfect status for human society. The primary responsibility of such a king or leader is to protect the Brahminical culture and the cows in his state. Om Gyanjamarandasya Gyananjana चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृन्द हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचम् इमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयति अखिल शक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यां च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम् मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयति गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे प्रमाणिनमः नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाभूतले श्रीमती महाविष्णुपुरस्वामिति नामिने नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाभूतले भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी नामिने Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Krishna Nirvisheshwanya Parchadistane Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna So Hare Krishna Prabhu's Matajis. We are all not human beings on a spiritual journey. Actually, we are spiritual beings on a human journey. Moreover, we are here to not to prove, right? Only to improve. That's very important. See, Prithu Maharaj, he was blessed. No, we just saw in purport. He was blessed by the saintly persons, no, in the arena. What was the blessing? They said, you have a long life. Why? Because of his unflinching faith and his devotion to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So if you want a long life, you should have unflinching faith and devotion to Krishna. See, although one's duration of life is limited in years, see, Satyuga, 100,000, like that, it comes down to 100 in Kali Yuga and it's coming down and all. So limited in years, if by chance one becomes a devotee, he surpasses the duration prescribed for his life. It is said, Kirtir yasya sa jivati. One who leaves a good reputation behind him lives forever. Specifically, one who is reputed as a devotee of the Lord undoubtedly lives forever. Nobody says forever, how is it possible? Right? So when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was talking with Ramananda Raya, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu inquired, what is the greatest reputation? So Ramananda Raya replied that a person who is reputed as a great devotee has the greatest reputation. For a devotee, not only lives forever in the Vaikuntha planets, but by his reputation, he also lives forever within this material world. That's what Prabhupada says in his purport. In fact, in Bhagavatam 2.3.17, very beautiful verse. Ayur harati vai pumsaham udyannastam cha yannaso tasyarte yatkashano nita uttama shloka vartaya. In the translation, it says, both, both by rising and by setting, both by rising and setting, the sun decreases the duration of life of everyone. Both by rising and setting, the sun decreases the duration of life of everyone, except one who utilizes the time by discussing topics of the all good personality of Godhead. The moment we are in devotional service, discussing topics of Krishna, Krishna Katha, and chanting, and all right. So the duration, this is an exception. It doesn't reduce. See, another important point to understand how, see, for everyone, the number of breaths is already destined. It's already, quota is given. This much, only this much breath for each and everyone. But when you recite the shlokas or chant Hare Krishna mantra, those breaths are not counted, thereby increasing the duration of life. See, everyone is sure to die, for no one is excluded from the hands of death. And it is a feature of the Lord, right? Mrityu sarva haras chaham. Mrityu sarva haras chaham. When one becomes a devotee, he is not destined to die according to a limited duration of life. See, everyone has a limited duration of life, but a devotee's lifetime can be extended by the mercy of the Supreme Lord, who is able to nullify the results of one's karma. It depends on Krishna, right? Karmani nirdahati kintucha bhakti bhajam. So this is the statement of Brahma Samhita 5.54. A devotee is not under the laws of karma. So therefore, even a devotee's scheduled death can be avoided by the causeless mercy of the Supreme Lord. God protects the devotee even from the extreme danger of death. That's why we saw in this purport, right? The citizens declared that through being under the protection of Maharaj Prithu, they were directly under the protection of the Supreme Personality of God. And this understanding is a proper situation of social steadiness within this material world. And Prabhupada further says in the purport, since it is stated in the Vedas that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the maintainer and leader of all living entities, the king or the executive head of the government must be a representative of the Supreme person. In fact, in this chapter, in the earlier verse, we are doing 48, 49 today. In fact, the 44th verse is one of the sublime and the most perfect verse, very wonderful verse in this chapter. 4:21, 44. Gunayanam Sheela Dhanam Kritagyam Vridashrayam Samarunate Anusampadaha Prasidatam Brahmakulam Gavam Cha Janadana Sahanucharascha Mahyam. Whoever acquires the Brahmanical qualifications, whose only wealth is good behavior, who is grateful and who takes shelter of the experienced persons, gets all opulence of the world. So if you want opulence, what do you have to do? Good behavior, grateful, and take shelter of experienced persons. Good behavior, be grateful, and take shelter of the experienced persons. So therefore, he says, I therefore wish that the Supreme Person of Godhead and his associates be pleased with the Brahmana class, with the cows, and with me. This is what Maharaj was telling. See, in one of his lectures, my Guru Maharaj very nicely explained about the reason for the opulence of the Pandavas, in spite of so many reverses which they faced in their lives. See, the lesson to be learned from Pandavas is that they followed Krishna under all circumstances. Right? Similarly, we may have some problems, but no lamentation. See, as our body becomes old, we may become diseased. There may be separation of living entities. Children may be dying young against the will of the parents. So everything will go on. But we should not be affected by thinking about the things which are beyond our control. Eternal time is the representative of Krishna, which controls everything. Right? See, you may be suffering from chronic diseases. So for diseases, medicine cannot help. In emergency, we might have to take few. But the real medicine is connection to Krishna. Real medicine is connection to Krishna. Krishna is the best purifying medicine. His remembrance will remove all inabilities. See, it is a great penance not to depend on medicines. When you wholeheartedly surrender to this process and lovingly chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, you are free from diseases. So when we begin the day with Mangalarti, then chanting Bhagavatam, we will be happy all day. Just try. And many of us will have been, we experience the same, right? So put it into practice. To begin with, we should remember only one word we need to remember. Kritagya, grateful. We must always be grateful to Krishna for providing us so much oxygen, so much water, this life, and so many things he has provided to us. Is it not our duty to thank Krishna? We should not only be grateful to Krishna, but to all the living entities. See, in this life, if you become grateful to every living entity, you will very easily escape from serious diseases and you will be very near to Krishna. See, the only point, Kritagya, grateful. So it is very nicely explained in Srimad Bhagavatam. As soon as you follow this, you will be, there won't be any more difficulties in your life. You should be grateful to everyone. Kritagya is very, very important. So we should not only be grateful to the Lord, but also to every soul whom we come across in our life. Gratefulness means remembering the service. See, please understand this very important point. Gratefulness means remembering the service or help done by whom? By our family, friends, well-wishers, especially in times of need. They would have helped, right? Still, they are helping. So the gratefulness should always be there. Thank Krishna and all these people. Krishna himself is the best example, for this quality of gratitude. See, Krishna is so merciful that even though Putana wanted to kill him, yet promoted her to the position of his mother, as he was grateful to her for having sucked her best. See, throughout our lives, no, we might have been ungrateful to the Lord, as well as to so many wonderful souls who have been helping us. Let us pray at the lotus feet of Guru, Prabhupada, and Krishna, right? That we remain grateful for all the wonderful mercy and blessing, and remain a sincere servant always to all, to Krishna, Guru, Prabhupada, and also all the living entities who have helped us in our journey. Not necessarily spiritual, even material also. So material also getting help, or you are helping others also by Krishna's mercy. Right? Otherwise we don't do. Then envy, jealousy also comes. See, my Guru Maharaj says, at the end of life, only bhakti will come. Only bhakti will come. So please do intense bhakti, because nothing else will accompany. So this body is the greatest enemy, and we are living with it throughout the life. But at the end of life, your body also will not accompany you. Bhakti only will accompany you. So you may have money now, but it will go away. Even if it doesn't go, somebody will take it away. Right? So he said, please use the money for Krishna. So we must improve the stock of bhakti. Stock of bhakti has to be improved. So we should concentrate on the stock of not only material things. Right? We can ignore everything else for Krishna, but should not ignore Krishna for anything. What's the point? We can ignore everything else for Krishna, but we should not ignore Krishna for anything. See how great sages like Vishwamitra, Parasramuni, see they were not, see they themselves were not able to control their senses. See, at any point of time, please remember that we cannot control our senses on our own. We should pray to Krishna to help us in controlling. So we should never become proud that we have controlled the senses. If at any point of time we think that we have controlled the senses, then it is like throwing the Himalayan mountain into the ocean and saying that it will float, which is not possible. We must always pray to Krishna for help in controlling senses. Gajendra, king of the elephants, while offering prayers to the Lord after being caught by the crocodile, he says in Bhagavatam 8:233, another wonderful verse, Yakashchanesho balinontakoragat prachanda vegad abhidhavato brisham भीतं प्रपन्नं परिपाति यद्भयात् मृत्यु प्रधावतरणं तमीमहि. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is certainly not known to everyone, but he is very powerful and influential. Therefore, although the serpent of eternal time, which is fearful in force, endlessly chases everyone, ready to swallow him, if one who fears this serpent seeks the shelter of the Lord gives him protection. For even death runs away in fear of the Lord. I therefore surrender unto him, the great and the powerful supreme authority, who is the actual shelter of everyone. Gajendra prays so wonderfully. So Lord in the form of time personified is running every minute and every second. So his speed is inconceivable. And he doesn't discriminate also. Krishna doesn't discriminate. Oh, this is devotee for him extra time. Non-devotee less time. No. So what should we do? So what we should do now? Organize Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam classes, so that people who are suffering can mitigate their miseries. See, there is no other way to mitigate miseries. Medicines will not help. Only Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam will help. So, organize programs. People will say that they don't have time, but everyone has fear of death. The words bhitam means one who is afraid of death, and prapannam means to be surrendered to the Lord. Those who take shelter of the Lord have nothing to worry. Mrityu pradhavati. Even death personified runs away in fear of the Lord. So the Lord is Aranam. Aranam means actual shelter of everyone. And so we should surrender to Him. See, do not worry about defects. All defects become perfect once we surrender to Krishna. First, we should have the strong faith in this, right? by serious study of the scriptures. Only then we can even preach to others also. See, the reason for Kaurava's defeat and Pandava's victory. Kauravas were defeated because they did not have a common goal. Kauravas were defeated because they did not have a common goal. Whereas Pandavas were victorious because they had a common goal. See, the Kaurava side, no, each one had a different aim in the fight against Pandavas. Duryodhana was fighting mainly to retain his kingdom and kill Pandavas. Karna was fighting to take revenge against Arjuna. Bhishmadev and Dronacharya were fighting as they were obliged to protect Hastinapur kingdom. Other kings like Jayadratha were also having their own agendas. So what happened though? Synergy was not there to fight with full strength and they had to face defeat. On the other hand, the Pandavas had one common goal. What was the common goal of Pandavas? To follow the orders of Krishna. To follow the orders of Krishna. They're completely dependent on Krishna for everything. And right from the beginning, they were obedient to Krishna's instructions. So even though they were small in number compared to Kauravas, they came out victorious in the end. Pandavas were victorious also because they were always obedient to the elders and were following their instructions strictly. This is another powerful lesson to learn. They were obedient not only to Krishna, even to all the elders. Duryodhana and his companions not only disobeyed the elders' instructions, but also disrespected them. But that is the reason for the defeat. See, it is very true and unpleasant, these facts for that these days the younger generation hardly obey the elders. Not everyone. Many you can see. Wisdom comes with experience, and it can never be replaced by this bookish knowledge. See, in the current system of modern education, children are taught to experiment everything on their own, and that the older system of learning is primitive. As a result, the elders are disrespected and disregarded. My Guru Maharaj always insists on the importance of obedience. This aspect in our life is very important. He will always say, right, with obedience everything comes. With obedience everything comes. See, elders as it is have good feelings for us, right? So when we obey them, blessings flow from their core of their hearts. These blessings. See, when we pay dandavat, when we go to somebody's house, elders are there, we pay dandavats to them, get their blessing. That is, of course, right in front of you. But if somebody is in America and we are in Bangalore, if that elderly person in US and all, if he or she remembers you and blesses from their heart, from there, but you're not seeing them, that means you have created a place in their hearts. That is the greatest blessing. This is how we should create our behavior and everything in our lives, qualities which will really attract people. And they, by remembering from wherever they are, they will be remembering and blessing you. That means Krishna is straight away blessing. That's the greatest blessing. Right in front, definitely it's there. But this is, you have created something in their hearts, right? So what makes a person very attractive? Even though we place so much importance on the external appearance, in the long term, we find that people are attracted and have respect and regard only for a person who has got good inner qualities. Character is very important. So we cultivate and develop good behavior and good qualities. 90% of Bhagavatam verses are aimed at building our character, qualities, and behavior. See, we may be materially not well off, but as devotees, our real and only wealth is Gunayanam and Shiladanam, stock of good qualities and behavior. Only if we have these two can we have the third qualification, Kritagyam, gratitude, which is grateful to Krishna and his devotees for our spiritual life and all that we are. So the way therefore to become a devotee is to tolerate, accept and be merciful and compassionate to everyone. The way to become a devotee is to tolerate, accept, be merciful and compassionate to everyone. So always remember that except for ourselves, everyone else is a great devotee. If we live that maxim, then all wealth of good behavior will automatically manifest in our hearts. See, once a disciple went to Parashar Bhatta, a great acharya in the Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya, and asked him, what are the Lakshana? Lakshana means characteristic of a Vaishnava. So Bhattar asked his disciple to go and see Ananta Alvar in Tirupati. You know the Alvars, right? So you want to go and see Ananta Alvar in Tirupati, who is a disciple of Shripada Ramanujacharya, and seek the answer from him. So the disciple, after several days of travel, reaches Tirupati. Ananta Alvar seated Bhattar's disciple in the first batch of visitors. After 10 days, Ananta Alvar kept the man waiting. 10 days, until two batches had eaten. After a few days, Ananta Alvar offered him very little food. That too was offered after everyone else had taken. Then he said to Butter's disciple, now he came to Butter's and he said, the day you arrived, you said you had a doubt. What is that doubt? So the man asked him was as to what are the characteristics of a true Vaishnava. What are the characteristic traits of a true Vaishnava? So Anantarva replied, a Vaishnava is like a crane, like a hen, like salt, and is like you. Four things he said. A Vaishnava is like a crane, C-R-A-N-E, crane. He's like a hen, he's like salt, and is like you. Let us see one by one. The crane. The crane, not the lifting of the crane, CR is the word, right? Crane waits on the banks of a lake and waits for the big fish alone to catch it for its meals. It is only waiting the big fish. There are so many fish going on. You're always waiting for the big one, leaving out the rest of the tiny ones. Likewise, a Vaishnava ignores all worldly things, only pays attention to that which pertains to Krishna. So this is the crane. What about the hen? A hen runs through the garbage in the hope of finding a grain to eat. Goes through the garbage session, right? In the hope of finding a grain to eat. Just as the hen discards the rubbish and only eats the grain, so does the Vaishnava discard that which is useless. See, he discards that which does not pertain to Krishna. A Vaishnava, amidst all the Shastras, picks up the essence of it alone, filtering out the rest. That's why Bhagavatam is the essence of all the Vishnu. So the crane, a hen, now salt. Salt gives any food its taste, right? Without salt, however carefully the food is prepared, the dish is not palatable. It is added to every dish. Yet we can't pinpoint the salt in the dishes. We cannot say, right, this is salt. It remains hidden, imparting its flavor. Similarly, a true Vaishnava does not advertise himself. A servant is not seen, but his service is seen. And fourth one was, he said, a true Vaishnava is truly humble, like you, like the disciple he was telling. Amanina manadena, who have disregarded all the ill treatment meted out to you and sought only knowledge. You know how Srila Prabhupada, how he was so malleable to the will of the Lord. See, Prabhupada, he felt very grateful and thankful for the care and loving service of his disciples. And we can see amazing level of humility in Prabhupada. So it is mentioned in the chapter, I think in the book, Prabhupada's Leelamrita, in that book, in one of the chapters, that Prabhupada's mood and varied within the realm of transcendental emotions and attitudes. To some of the disciples attending Prabhupada, he said, I am thinking I am a worthless person, taking so much of service from all of you. There is no way I can repay you. I am poor in every respect, financially and spiritually. Who is telling this? Prabhupada is telling to his disciples. He is Jagat Guru, who by his matchless service of giving Krishna consciousness to all people all over the world, he deserves all the respect and service. But never was there a moment when he felt proud of his achievements. He always gave all glories to Guru, Krishna, He considered himself as a mere servant in their hands. He always felt that all his disciples were sent by Guru. See, very important point to understand is, Prabhupada, he always felt that all his disciples were sent to him by Guru and Krishna for helping him in his mission. Never did he take any personal credit for himself. Such was his glory. He never took anyone for granted and was always appreciative and thankful to all for whatever service they could render. This is the beauty. So when the disciples responded saying that their only desire is to serve, when the disciples said their only desire is to serve you, Prabhupada, you know what Prabhupada said? I know, and it's the only reason I am living. All over the world things are going on by your sincere service. See, he always gives credit to the disciples. But occasionally, another point is, but occasionally Prabhupada would still reprimand, right, an errant disciple who does some mistakes or something like that. See, just like Krishna, right? Spiritual master plays the role of a loving father. And likewise, Prabhupada also never missed an opportunity either to genuinely encourage or chastise his disciples. And he did both of them so perfectly that the recipient, he could very well realize that both the appreciation and chastisement are coming from a true well-wisher, Suhurda. So these are very good lessons qualities we can imbibe. How a king or leader of society can become the representative of Supreme Personality of Godhead is also indicated in the verse which we have been discussing today, right? By the statement that because Prithu Maharaj was preaching, because he was preaching the supremacy and glories of Krishna, he was therefore he is a proper representative of God. So if you are preaching Krishna conscious to everyone, you are a proper representative of Krishna. To remain under the jurisdiction or administration of such a king or leader is a perfect status for human society. The primary responsibility of such a king or leader is to protect the Brahminical culture and the cows in his state. See, a monarch is certainly a representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As it is given in Bhagavad Gita, Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the proprietor of all planetary systems. See, in each and every planet, there must be some king, governmental head, or executive, correct? Such a person is supposed to be the representative of Krishna, Lord Vishnu. See, on behalf of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he must see to the interests of all the people. So therefore, Lord Vishnu as Paramatma gives the king of all intelligence to execute governmental affairs. Very nicely given the purport of Chaitanya Charita Madhyalila 1.181. Now in the Bhagavatam 6.9.25 purport, Prabhupada says, here is an explanation of why the conditioned soul cannot see the Supreme Personality of Godhead face to face. Why conditioned soul, people like us, why we cannot see Krishna face to face? Even though the Lord appears before us as Lord Krishna or Lord Ramachandra and lives in human society as a glitter or king, the conditioned soul cannot understand him. Right? Avajananti mamuda manushim tanum ashitam. Rascals, mudas, deride the Supreme Personality of Godhead, thinking him an ordinary man, ordinary human being. See, however insignificant we think that we are also God, that we can create universe, or that we can create another God. This is why we cannot see or understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So in this regard, Srila Madhvacharya says, Lingam eva pashyamaha kadachit havimanastu devanam api san eva praya kaleshu nasti eva taratmen so api apitu. That is, we are all conditioned to various degrees, but we think that we are all God. This is why we cannot understand who God is, or even we are not able to see him face to face. So Prabhupada, he says in one of his lectures, this Krishna conscious movement, right? We are worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Supreme Leader. Human society cannot work without a leader. Anywhere you go, any country, nation, society, any community, any family, there is a leader. So the Vedas instruct that there is a Supreme Leader. Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam Eko Bahunam Vidadati Kaman. Katha Upanishad 2.2.13. Very important mantra in Katha Upanishad. Nityo Nityanascha. So it says the Supreme Lord is eternal and the living beings are eternal. Supreme Lord is cognizant and the living beings are also cognizant. The difference is that the Supreme Lord is supplying all the necessities of life for the many other living entities. So you have heard the names of Upanishads, right? They are Vedic literatures. Upanishads are Vedic literatures. Originally, the Veda was one, Samaveda. Then it was divided into four, Samaveda, Atharvaveda, Rigveda, Yajurveda. Then the Vedas, when the Vedas verses, they were explained in Upanishads. There are 108 Upanishads. Then the whole conclusion was made shortened, cream now. And that is called Vedanta Sutra. And again, this Vedic knowledge was compiled in simple way for the understanding of less intelligent class of men. That is called Mahabharata. And in Mahabharata, there is one chapter which is called Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is only a chapter of the great history of India. Mahabharata, right? And then Vedanta Sutra is described in Srimad Bhagavatam. So Vedic literature is very old. Nobody can trace out the history. And it is not man-made. It is coming out from transcendental world by disciplic succession. That is Vedic literature. Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam. A leader, supreme leader of all living entities, Krishna or whatever you see, absolute truth, absolute person. We say God also. So God is also a person like you and me. See, just like whenever you find out some leader, he must be a person, right? Impersonal cannot be a leader. So this is very important. So there must be one leader, and he must be a person. There's no impersonalism. So we can judge from this, right? How God can be a person. He cannot be impersonal. A king is a representative of God. King is not ordinary person. Just like a spiritual master is a representative of God. Similarly, king is also a representative of God. The father is also a representative of God. So these are the statements of the Shastras. Because they will guide. The king will guide, the spiritual master will guide, the father will guide. And what is that guidance? That guidance is how one can become Krishna conscious by education, by culture. This is guidance. Not that to guide them how to become hippies. This is not guidance, this is misguidance. Prithu Maharaj used to please all kinds of citizens by his extraordinary capacity to understand the mentality of others. Because different people have different mentalities. His dealings, were so perfect that every one of the citizens were very much satisfied and they lived in complete peace. See, for Maharaj Prithu, he used to rule this planet as the representative of Krishna. He knew that he was the representative of Krishna and that the Lord's creation must be protected intelligently. See, atheists, they cannot understand the purpose behind this creation. Although this material world is condemned, when it is compared to the spiritual world, right, it is condemned. But still, some purpose is there behind it with this material creation. Modern scientists and philosophers, they cannot understand this purpose. Nor do they believe in the existence of a creator. They try to establish everything by their so-called scientific research. But they don't center anything around the supreme creator. A devotee can understand the purpose of creation, which is to give facilities to the individual living entities who want to lord it over material nature, right? So the ruler of this planet should therefore know that all the inhabitants, especially human beings, have come to this material world for sense enjoyment. So it is therefore duty of the ruler to satisfy them in their sense enjoyment, as well as to elevate them to Krishna consciousness, so that they can ultimately return home back to Godhead. So slowly, by gradually picking this up. So with this idea in mind, the king or government head should rule the world. In this way, everyone will be satisfied. So how can this be accomplished? Look at the examples of Prithu Maharaj. And the history of, see, very nicely given in Bhagavatam, various chapters, we see or saw the qualities of Prithu Maharaj, how he was ruling. Like Yudhishthira Maharaj, Parishit Maharaj. So even in this fallen age, if the rulers, governors and presidents take advantage of Prithu Maharaj's example, there will certainly be a reign of peace and prosperity throughout the world. The Supreme Personality of Godhead generally appears in various types of incarnations. For what purpose? To give protection to the cows and brahmanas. See, the Lord is given in 824:5 purport. The Lord is described as Go Brahmana Hitayacha. He is always eager to benefit the cows and brahmanas. See, when Lord Krishna appeared, he purposefully became a coward boy and showed personally how to give protection to the cows and calves. Similarly, he showed respect to Sudama, a real Brahmana. See, from the Lord's personal activities, no, human society, we should learn how to give protection specifically to the Brahmanas and cows. Then the protection of religious principles, fulfillment, aim of life, protection of Vedic knowledge can be achieved. Without protection of cows and Brahminical culture, right, when it cannot be maintained, right? When if it is not maintained, then the aim of life cannot be fulfilled. Therefore, the Lord says, he is described as Go Brahmana Hitayacha, because his incarnation is only for protection of the cows and Brahmanas. Unfortunately, because in Kali Yuga, there is no protection of the cows and Brahminical culture, everything is in a precarious position. Chaos. So, if human society wants to be exalted, the leaders of society must follow instructions of Bhagavad Gita and give protection to the cows, the Brahmanas, and the Brahminical culture. Progressive human civilization is based on Brahminical culture. So, God consciousness and protection of cows, right? This is very important. All economic development of state by trade, commerce, agriculture, industries, they must fully be utilized in relation to these principles. Otherwise, all the so-called economic development becomes a source of degradation. Cow protection means feeding the Brahminical culture, which leads towards God consciousness. And thus, perfection of human civilization is achieved. See, the age of Kali, it aims at killing the higher principles of life. See, although Maharaj Parikshit he strongly resisted the domination of the personality of Kali within the world, the influence of age of Kali came at an opportune moment. And even a strong king like Maharaj Parikshit, he was induced to disregard the Brahminical culture. Why? Due to a slight provocation of hunger and thirst. You know the episode of Maharaj Parikshit, how he was cursed, right? So Maharaj Parikshit lamented this accidental incident and he desired, what does he decide after this? That all his kingdom, strength, and accumulation of wealth would be burnt up for not being engaged in Brahminical culture, right? See, where wealth and strength are not engaged in the advancement of Brahminical culture, God consciousness, and cow protection, the state and home are surely doomed by providence. So, if we want peace and prosperity in this world, we should take lessons from this verse 4, I think 119.3. Every state and every home must endeavor to advance the cause of Brahminical culture for self purification, God consciousness for self realization, and cow protection for getting sufficient milk and the best food to continue a perfect civilization. I read this once again, very important point. If we want peace and prosperity in this world, we should take lessons that every state and every home must endeavor to advance the cause of Brahminical culture for self purification, God consciousness for self realization, and cow protection for getting sufficient milk and the best food to continue a perfect civilization. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय श्री प्रभुपाद की जय गोप वांछा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिंधुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो. Thank you very much for this opportunity to glorify Krishna and purify ourselves. If you have any questions, any points to share, which you felt very useful, please you can do that. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you for the very nice class.
Thank
Prabhuji,
you.
can you please repeat the crane, what you described, the quality for devotees in form of crane, and the second one is how we can
Hen.
develop good quality in us, Prabhuji.
Sure. 1 minute. Parveen. The Vaishnava qualities, right? The crane, hen, 4 1, and salt, right? Salt and two Vaishnava. So your question is how to develop good qualities.
And Shri Prabhuji, how to develop good qualities, and please repeat the crane,
Yeah,
means what you
sure,
have
sure.
described for the crane.
Yeah. See, a Vaishnava is like a crane, like a hen. It's like salt and like crane. See, the crane, no, it waits on the banks of a lake, and it is waiting. See, it likes to eat fish, right? But it's waiting for the big fish alone, only for the big fish to catch. It wants to catch only a big fish for its meals. All the other tiny ones he will leave out. So similarly, Vaishnava, he ignores all the worldly things, only pays attention to that which pertains to the Lord, pertains to Krishna. So this is the crane. Similarly, hen, no, it runs, it goes to the garbage, but to find only a grain it wants, nothing else. So his hen discards the rubbish, only it's the grain. Similarly, Vaishnava discards which is useless, right? Which discards means which does not pertain to Krishna. That this is a very good quality. The quality of Vaishnava is one is rather like the crane, no? He ignores all worldly things and only pays attention to that which will satisfy Krishna. Anything which we are doing so many activities right from morning till night. So you should think if I do definitely if I do Mangalati, Krishna will be pleased. If I chant, Krishna will be pleased. If I this for this fruit, this flower, if I offer, Krishna will be pleased. So whatever you are doing in your daily activities, you should just think if I do this, will Krishna be pleased? In fact, when my Guru Maharaj was here, there's a question, right? Maharaj, we are sometimes careless, we get angry and so many things. We react. So Maharaj said, okay, whenever such situation comes, just think, if I am sitting in front of you, will you do whatever you're thinking of doing it? So just think of that. When it's the spiritual master. Otherwise, if Krishna is there, will you do that? It will not please Krishna. Right? So what are the things that pleases Krishna? You can see in Bhagavad Gita in 12th chapter, you can read. If you are like this, you will please him more like that. And the most important pleasing thing for Krishna is to share this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam to others. And Krishna is more pleased. So crane is like that. Hen is also it's just all the rubbish. Just pick up the essence, right? And salt is a very good example given, right? It gives food its taste. Without salt, however carefully you prepare the dish, right? It is not palatable. It is added to every dish, right? But we can't pinpoint that salt is in this dish. Like this is the salt, this is salt. We can't see. It remains hidden, but it imparts its flavor. So true Vaishnava, he does not advertise that I am a Vaishnava, I am so and so, I am this. The servant is not seen, but his service is seen. So this is the point. So there are a few. Okay, I hope it is useful. Can
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
thank you,
Yeah.
Hare
And
Krishna.
how we can develop the good qualities in us, Prabhuji?
Yeah, see, if you go to there's a Bhagavad Gita 13.8, I think. There are 5, 6 sources in 13th chapter Bhagavad Gita. So many qualities given: humble, like him, silent. So many beautiful qualities. Okay, now, okay, that is what we're going through. For example, before coming to Krishna consciousness, maybe we were a bit, we react, we get angry, right? We are deviated with so many things. Envious is there, else is there. But after coming to Krishna consciousness, doing like chanting now, right? Attending Mangalarti, association, everything. Definitely there is a change. Qualities, without your knowingly, you might have acquired. You are becoming more peaceful now. You don't react as just like before. You don't get that much angry. It will be there, but it is not there. And so many difficulties also come into our lives, right? We find so many. In fact, when you come to Krishna, there is more. But we are withstanding that and still continuing with our chanting and everything, right? We don't stop. If any difficulty comes, oh no, stop chanting. What is this? If enough can, we don't do that because Krishna is pleased with our activities. Oh, this Prabhuji, this Mataji is chanting, this Mataji is doing arti, right? when Krishna is pleased with that, he will give us the strength to withstand the difficulties also. It's just like, suppose when it is raining outside, what do? You open the umbrella. When you open the umbrella, the rain does not stop. The rain still comes. But earlier it would have affected because there is no umbrella. Now you open the umbrella, the rain comes, but it does not affect you because it's the umbrella shelter of the you are under the shelter of the umbrella. Similarly, before coming to Krishna consciousness, problems and difficulties were there, but you were very much affected. You could not resist and tolerate. But now you come under the umbrella of Krishna. But now again the problems, the difficulties are coming, but you're able to tolerate. So tolerance is one quality already accepted. So just by doing the activities like getting up for Mangalarti, chanting, offering bhoga, taking it only prasadam, so all the other qualities will automatically come. Forcefully you cannot do anything. So humbleness, just by doing the higher taste, good qualities will come. I hope it is useful,
Yes,
Mataji.
but in our practical life, sometimes it is not like that. Means we want to be humble, we want to be nice, but
Hmm.
every time it is not possible. Means we can see that we are cheating. Like means अंदर से कुछ और है, बाहर कुछ और करना है. तो
होता है. Correct.
how we can means इसको कैसे ठीक कर सकते हैं that we can please Krishna. Means we are ऊपर ऊपर we so मतलब हम देखते हैं कि yeah we can by doing this activity we can please Krishna, but
Hmm.
अंदर से फिर वो कहीं ना कहीं अब किसी को कुछ देना है कुछ भी है या anything, वो दो
So the
चीज
point is,
होता है, अंदर कुछ
sahi hai,
और
sahi
बाहर
hai.
कुछ
See,
और.
the point is, see, how to know, question will be how to know that Krishna is pleased. How to know that Krishna is pleased? Means now, if you are still feeling angry, if you are agitated, if you are worried, that means Krishna is still not pleased with your chanting. That means you have to improve your chanting, to improve your association of devotees, improve your reading of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, preaching to others, book, right? So these are the things. So definitely that itself will show your humbleness. As you say, it's not a shortcut nahi hai. But by getting the higher taste, the lower taste will automatically go. Kama, Krodha, Moha, all these six anarthas are there in the heart. Daily आप कचरा घर में कचरा clean करते हो, right? Every day you clean the house and put the kachra outside, garbage outside. It's not that only one day you do, every day you do, right? Why? Because every day kachra is there coming. So you have to clean every day. So same way, all the bad call, you said this, I'm not getting that humbleness, I'm not, it will come only we have to every day clean. Only then the anarthas will go off, and that cleanliness only by chanting Hare Krishna. If you chant, if you are supposed to chant 16 rounds, after Prabhuji, I chanted 16 rounds, what to do? Chant more. Means the quality of chanting has to improve. Then definitely you can see the difference in your life. Hope
Yes,
it's useful,
Prabhu.
Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Yes, yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thanks. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Bye-bye, Pranam.
Nice, Mataji. Nice, good question. Thank you, Hare Krishna. Anybody else? Any questions or any points useful for you for your daily life? Okay, it's more than time. Stop here. Thank you very much, Prabhuji Mataji, for patiently going through and trying to imbibe things and putting into practice in daily life. Hare Krishna. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. वांछा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो की जय हरे कृष्ण।